Welcome to the Travel Squad podcast, where adventure meets inspiration. We're your hosts. I'm Brittany.
I'm Kim.
And I'm Jamal. Together we explore international destinations, hike epic national parks, and share unforgettable travel experiences with you, one passport stamp at a time.
Our mission is to inspire you to travel by showing you how you can make it work no matter your budget, schedule, or experience level.
We bring you along so that you can laugh, get excited, and start planning your own trip.
So grab your ticket and your passport.
And don't forget your travel insurance.
And get ready to embark on a new adventure with us around the globe.
Hey Squaddies! Travel Squad Podcast is back with Just the Tip, a new Friday mini-episode series where we give you quick travel stories, hacks, and recommendations to set you off into the weekend right.
Today we're sharing with you all 3 very different countries that are so underrated.
Yes, we really want to help these countries shine because they are amazing and more people should definitely consider visiting them.
Country number 1 is one I haven't been to, you two have, you will not stop raving about it, and that is Slovenia.
Yes, I feel like Slovenia is such an underrated country. It's in Europe, Central Europe. There's Austria to the north, Hungary to the northeast, Croatia to the south, Italy to the west. So I feel like it's right in the center of things, but it just doesn't get the recognition it deserves.
Truly, when you mentioned Slovenia, that was probably the first time I'd ever heard of that country.
And what comes to mind when you think of Slovenia, Kim?
Literally nothing, because I had never heard of it. And I feel like a lot of people haven't.
Yeah, so we visited in 2019. It's a really beautiful country. There's a lot of natural beauty, and it also has that charming European architecture. There's a lot of beautiful lakes, rivers, they have caves and mountains. We spent most of our time in Slovenia at Lake Bled, and Lake Bled is located in the Julian Alps in the northwest part of the country.
Yeah, Lake Bled was absolutely amazing. This was probably the most scenic focal point. If you were to Google just Slovenia and put it on images, probably the number one thing that's going to come up is an image of Lake Bled. It's located right at the foot of the Julian Alps. It's famous clear blue waters. There's a medieval church that sits in the middle on an island that you have to take a plinta boat to go to, walk up these 99 steps to the church. There's a whole ritual. You can ring the bell. It's just absolutely beautiful. And what I really like most about the lake is it's large, but not very large. And there is a walking path that you can walk the entire perimeter of the lake. Or if you're feeling a little bit more romantic, take a horse-drawn carriage. Aww. We did not do the horse-drawn carriage. In hindsight, it's one of those things when we're there, we think, no. But then looking back on it, I would have liked to have done it. So when we go back, because I would definitely go back to Slovenia, I'm going to do the horse-drawn carriage. Are you going to ride it with me, Brittany?
Yes, I will ride it with you.
Are you going to ride it with us, Kim? Are you coming with us?
Yeah, third wheel. Romantic horse-drawn carriage. Hey, quick question, Jamal. What is a plinta boat?
You know, I don't really know what the difference is. All I remember vividly in our mind is that they kept calling those boats plintas. Do you remember, Brittany?
Well, when you get on it, there is like a rower. So there is someone that you hire that like rows the boat.
Like in Venice, those boats on the canals. But
yes, but it's not a gondola. I mean, it fits more people than that. So it could fit like, I don't know, 10-ish people on it.
I'm a Google fan. I mean, I just said Google an image earlier. And when you asked me that, I tried to get an answer for you as Brittany was answering. And when I Googled plinta boat, the first thing that comes up are boats in Lake Bled. So I think they're just specific maybe to Lake Bled. What and why they're different, I don't really know. They have like little covered awnings. The guy is rowing it. They're very low to the water because it is a calm lake, not like high waves or anything like that. So that's what a plinta boat is.
And did you ride one?
We did. We rode the boat from one part to the island in the middle. And then we walked up the 99 steps. We went into the church. We made a wish and rang the bell at the same time. So the only way to get to the island is by the little plinta boats, so that's how we got there.
And then also along Lake Bled, there is the Bled Castle. It's the oldest Slovenian castle, first mentioned in historic writings that they have dating all the way back to the year 1011. So really, really old. It sits actually atop of the lake because around the lake, again, we mentioned there are mountains. So you're at the top of the cliff looking over. It gives you a really scenic overlook that I would highly recommend that you do. Just be sure if you go to time it and not go on a cloudy day, because if it's cloudy and you can't see down to the lake, it's going to be very, very unfortunate.
Yeah, the castle sits about 400 feet up on the cliff. And then it was actually the spot that we had a little happy hour farewell reception on our tour group. Like Jamal said, it gives you a great vantage point of the lake and the island. So definitely go up there and check out Blood Castle. Definitely do that. And while you're in Lake Blood, you have to try the cream cake that was created in Blood. Definitely eat it while you're looking over to the castle and the lake. It's amazing.
Cream cake. Is this kind of like a tres leches cake?
It's not like a tres leches cake. It has its base that's at the bottom, then a little bit of frosting, a thinner layer at top, and then it's covered with its pastry that's on top. So it's not like a tres leches. It's something that's unique to it, but it was just so rich and flavorful and absolutely delicious without being overly sweet, which a lot of desserts can be. But I feel like that's one thing that Europeans don't do, is make really sweet desserts. So you can take that one to the bank. If you are really adverse to sweets, still give it a try, because it's not going to be overly sweet, but absolutely delicious.
And while you're in Slovenia, you also have to go to the Postojna cave. It's one of the largest cave systems in the world. It's actually located in the southwestern part of the country. You have to take this unique electric train ride to like the innards of the cave, and then you do a walking tour to the most impressive chambers. It's probably one of the coolest cave experiences we've had.
Yeah, you take a train literally into the cave. It was about a 5-10 minute train ride, if I'm not mistaken, till you finally get really deep in, and then that's when you have all the stalagmites, stalactites. You're free to get out and do a little bit of walking, and of course then you have to take the train ride all the way back outside the cave, which we've been in a lot of caves, but I've never been in one that you have to go in that deep that they really have a train to take you in. And I thought that was really cool and unique, and probably one of the cooler caves I've ever really been in, the Postojna caves out here.
Like, Kim, think of Carlsbad Caverns, but like 10 times grander.
Ooh, Carlsbad Caverns is already so grand.
I know. This is an amazing experience. If you're in Slovenia, you have to check it out. We also went to Lake Bohinj. It's a glacial lake within a national park, and it's the largest permanent lake in Slovenia. It's really beautiful. It's surrounded by the Julian Alps, and I would love to go back to hike in this area. We were on a tour, so we unfortunately didn't get to do much exploring or hiking, so I would love to do that if we go back on our own.
I just want to say what really sold us on Slovenia and why we really love it is, if you are a nature lover, this country is for you. Everything is really clean, beautiful, colorful, vibrant greens in the trees. The mountainscape is amazing. Then the clear color of the lakes and water. We really love Slovenia, and that's why we're highlighting it here for you guys. Totally underrated. You're on the European continent. You're probably visiting a country not too far off away. Hop on over to Slovenia.
Ah, and here we have travelers in their natural habitat enjoying guaranteed 4 p.m. checkout at fine hotels and resorts booked through Amex Travel, and they don't even see what's coming at them.
We're in. We got the table.
Yep, with Resi Priority Notify, they're alerted when hard-to-get reservations open up.
Reservation for 2? Save the best for last.
Thanks to Amex Platinum, the last day vacation brings yet another experience. That's the powerful backing of American Express. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/withAmex.
I'm not going back to college to be your friend. I'm going so I can get Uber One for students. It saves you on Uber and Uber Eats. I'm there for $0 delivery fee on cheeseburgers, up to 10% off smoothies, and 6% Uber cash back on rides. Just to be clear, I'm there for savings, not whatever you think college is for.
Get Uber One for students, a membership to save on Uber and Uber Eats. With deals this good, everyone wants to be a student. Join for just $4.99 a month. Savings may vary. Eligibility and member terms apply.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See detail.
Our second most underrated country is China.
Everybody knows where China is, right? I mean, at least I would hope so. If you're a traveler, you should know where China is on the Asian continent. And most people, when they think about China, I'm going to just have to speculate, because this is what everybody asked us when we told them we were going to China, is why are you going to China? And I think a lot of it has to do with the politics at play of what we hear here in the media. China's communist, this, that, and the other. And we're not advocating one way or the other, but as a country with the food, the culture, the sites, the history, we all absolutely loved China.
Another thing that I heard a lot before we went on this trip, as I was doing research and from other people, was that the Chinese food will not be as good as the Chinese food here in America, that it's different, it's not what we're used to, you're not going to like it. And I'm here to tell you that's some BS, because the food in China is so good.
It's the traditional family styles. It's on like a lazy Susan. You're all sharing. It was amazing. We had such good Chinese food while we were there.
It was good. I don't know if it was better because everyone said, oh, it's not going to be as good in what it is here, or if it was just better because it was absolutely better. It was amazing. So don't fall for the hype that you hear when people say the Chinese food is not going to be as good. It really was, and if not better. But minus the food, what did we love and like that made China so amazing?
Well, we went to 3 different areas in China. We went to Beijing, Xi'an, and Shanghai. We went back in 2017, so yes, it's been a little while. But, I mean, there was so much to love about China. The pandas at the Beijing Zoo.
Oh, they were so cute.
I know. The Great Wall of China.
Oh, amazing.
The terracotta soldiers in Xi'an.
That was a surprising one. So cool.
The cityscape of Shanghai from the night river cruise on the Bund. That was awesome. If you don't even know what the Shanghai skyline looks like, you should check it out and just imagine that all lit up at night. It's a sight to see. We did a night cruise on the river that runs right by. That was an experience in and of itself. And I'm not going to lie, we're on Shanghai. We're just going to mention it. We went to Shanghai Disney, newest Disney park in the world, opened the very same year that we were actually there. And probably the best Disney park that we've ever been to. And we've been to them all except for Hong Kong. So that's saying something. This one was amazing.
It was truly a magical experience.
It was. And all 3 of these cities that we visited had something unique to offer with its own history, culture, food, because all Chinese food is not the same. It's different by region. And yes, you can get a lot of the main staples, but when we were in different places, we were trying different things. And
like, remember the 17 different styles of dumplings that we had in Xi'an?
Oh my gosh, that was amazing. Definitely go to a dumpling dinner while you're there.
And then we had the Peking duck dinner when we were in Beijing, which is unique to that area. Not that they don't have Peking duck all over the place, but that's where it originated. So a lot of good mix of things, and more importantly, the history. And really, really cool. There's always that misconception of lots of countries, but China is a country that actually wants tourism. So when you're there, especially when you go on guided tours like we did, they really try to go above and beyond to make you have a great time, and you will when you visit China.
The other thing I really liked about China was the people were actually very nice. I think as Americans, like you said earlier with politics and whatnot, the media, sometimes it's portrayed as a communist nation and they're stealing our data and puts this image in your head, but that is not the reality when you're actually there, as the case most of the time when you visit another country. And people were super nice. We said ni hao to show them, we're trying to speak in their language, say hi, and their faces just lit up. They were so happy. And I thought the people were great. The other thing in China is they are so excited to see you that they photograph you like you're a celebrity.
Oh, yeah. You want to feel like a celebrity, go to China. It's almost like the paparazzi's following you. They love it.
As long as you don't look Chinese, right?
Yeah,
They actually come up to you and sometimes ask, sometimes don't ask if they can take a picture with you, as well as when they're walking by from afar, like paparazzi in the bushes.
Good points. Good memories, Kim.
So that third country on our list here for you is going to be Ecuador. This was another squad trip that we all took together, and we had an amazing time here.
Ecuador is located in South America, and a lot of people think of Ecuador, they think of the Galapagos Islands. They think it might be just like Peru, and they may think of the equator because it does sit on the equator. But we did a squad trip here with a tour company. We visited in 2021. We visited Quito, the Amazon, and the equator.
Quito is where we started. It's the city, right? And there's a lot of other really amazing things in Ecuador, but Quito has a lot of character. Those 16th century architecture, cobblestone streets, Spanish colonial district, the Baroque architecture is very, very beautiful in Quito. And I'm actually very glad that we got to experience the city center.
Yeah, Quito is kind of really spread out, and it's in a mountainous area. So it's not like it's this just flat area, big city. You have different layers of the city based off of like elevation spread out throughout the mountain. But you mentioned those Spanish colonial streets. The colonial city center is actually designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So that area is to some degree really well preserved. It's so old, going back to the 16th century, that we, to go maybe about 1 mile, spent 20 minutes in traffic in a taxi just because of how all the streets are. I wish they didn't really have cars be able to go in those areas, but I understand they really need to, so that's the case. But a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Spanish Colonial District, that was really cool to see.
What surprised me most about Ecuador was how green it was. There was a lot of gorgeous waterfalls, natural areas, volcanoes, the jungle, of course. So I wasn't really expecting that, but it's such a gorgeous country.
You mentioned this as what people think of with Ecuador, with it being like Peru. It's right next to Peru. It has indigenous culture still very much alive and thriving there, but it's not like Peru. We've been to Peru as well together, and there are some similarities, of course. They're right next to each other, but it's very, very different and also differs depending on the region you're in. So the indigenous culture that we saw in Quito was very different than the culture that we saw, say, in the Amazon rainforest.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, because part of our tour, we did go into the Amazon. The Amazon does start in Ecuador, as well as other countries. When I say start, we're going into the edge areas of the Amazon as it creeps into that territory over there. And we had to take a boat down a tributary of the Amazon River to our hotel. From there, we took another boat, visited with an indigenous and native tribe that is still in the area, lives as if they lived, several hundred years ago or even before the Spanish arrived and colonized that area of the world. So we got to experience that. And then, let's not kid ourselves, we really enjoyed going up into the Andes Mountains and into the thermal areas and the hot springs that they had.
Oh my gosh, we stayed at a hotel with hot springs literally right outside our front door of the hotel. It was amazing. We booked a spa experience there. Highly recommend it. While you're sitting, soaking in the hot springs, you're looking up to the Andes Mountains. It's so gorgeous. 10 out of 10 experience.
Oh, it was a 10 out of 10. It's called Termas de Papayacta. And if you are going to visit Ecuador, do not miss this place and plan to stay at least 2 nights or more if you can.
Yeah, every time we talk about Ecuador, we talk about going back to here, not necessarily Quito. The Amazon, yes, we want to go in again, but we're not really hyping that up as much amongst ourselves, when we're talking, as we are Termas de Papayacta. We said we would specifically go back to this area, this resort, have a good time, spend those 2 days there, like you said. But it's not even just the bouginess of the hot springs or the resort that you're at. You really are at an elevation 8,000 to 10,000 feet up in these mountains. You're amongst the clouds. It's just so green. The varying degrees of temperature that you experience. It's just the whole ambiance. And I really loved it. And Termas de Papayacta was my favorite part about Ecuador. Most people, when they go, of course, are going to go to Galapagos. We didn't go on our tour, and we need to go back to Galapagos. And we're not saying don't, but just take Galapagos out of the equation. Mainland Ecuador, really underrated.
One thing that these 3 countries have in common, when we visited, we actually did tours with Gate 1. We've talked about Gate 1 a million times. We're obsessed with them. It's not sponsored. If we could get them to notice us, we would love to be sponsored by them. But I would recommend using Gate 1 for these country experiences, especially China.
Absolutely. Very good point on that one. We love Gate 1. And until you said that, I didn't even really make the correlation that they were all the guided tours, but they were. And that's the thing, too. A lot of these guided tours were very inexpensive for us to go on. And we booked them, too, because of the pricing on it, not necessarily because like, oh yeah, we for sure really want to go here. Not that we didn't want to, but we let a sale, so to speak, guide us. And here they are making the list of underrated countries that all three of us love.
So Squatties, if you have a country that you think is underrated, comment on today's Instagram post and let us know, because we're currently building out 2026, 27, and 28 travel, and we need your recommendations. And thanks for tuning in to Just the Tip.
Make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on all the socials at Travel Squad Podcast.
And have fun traveling this weekend. Bye, Squatty.
Bye.